going to go live a little bit earlier than we thought, just due to a little bit of a mix-up in time zones. So we're going to go live now, and I'd like to do a little bit of a brief on my fantastic person that we're going to have talk tonight with us. So Lisa Melbourne is a beautiful designer from Rugby in England, and she has a fantastic kitchen and bathroom showroom. She's an award-winning designer. They won the 2018 Showspace Design Award with KBB Awards in the UK, and she was a finalist in the SBID Awards in 2019 in the retail section. So I'm looking forward to Lisa joining us. We can talk about all things design, what it's like in the UK at the moment, where we think it's going to head, and everything like that. So she'll be joining us shortly. So I hope you've all had a good day. Obviously ours is coming to the end. If you're joining us from the UK, yours is about to start. So I know it's starting to get a little bit trying now, as we're all been in lockdown for a very long time, and we're starting to get over it. But I think we all need to just hang tough, hang in there for another week or so, and I'm pretty sure we can start to get life back to normal. I know for myself, I've been doing a lot of bathroom design this week, have some projects where we're doing some townhouses where we have multiple bathrooms, so we're getting some concepts done for them so they're ready to go. So just waiting for Lisa to join. I think she'll be with us shortly. These Instagram live things are all quite fun. We're all new to it, all trying to get involved and share stuff with the community. So there's always going to be a few little hitches, but I'm sure we'll get there. So other areas that are I'm here. So this is the same. Go here. I'm going to go live now. I think we're pretty. Hi Lisa, how you going?
Hey man, I'm alright. I look blurry.
Yeah, so good to see you again.
Yeah, you?
So, how's life in the UK?
Yeah, life's okay. It's different.
It's different?
Yeah, definitely different.
Yeah. So I was just saying, we've known each other for a while now, and
we have
met over the internet in one of the groups that many of us designers have, and
yeah.
I was fortunate that you accompanied me to the SBID Awards in 2014. And,
that was good.
And introduced me to a lot of fellow UK designers, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
So what's happening in your world?
Well, we're about 7 weeks now in from when the UK went into complete lockdown. I think it's today. So we're builders merchants as well as in construction. So our government, the UK government, actually allowed or wanted the construction industry in the UK to continue. So as a merchant, so builders merchants and in construction, we've remained open. We put a lot of measures into place overnight. The announcement came out on the Monday night, and on the Tuesday, we'd set up completely different structure of our business to allow us to continue. I have a new role now out in the yard. So I've been out in the yard for 7 weeks, and about 20 odd years ago, that's where I started. So I'm back. Yeah. Back out there. So it's been different experience, but we've been very busy. Very busy, long hours, but it's been good.
Been good. Yeah, I know our construction industry just opened this week, so they all went back on Monday, and it's interesting. I actually haven't been out on site yet. We're
technically not supposed to, so I've tried to stay by the rules. It's interesting going past, been past a couple of building sites on my walks and that, and they've all got security guards on them now. They've got an area where they walk through to test their temperature. A lot of signing in and contract tracing. So I think even when we move further on, it's going to be quite a bit of a change, even for us, designers and that, going to people's homes. You're really going to have to take good logbooks of where you've been and notes and get a lot of details. So, but we've had our second day of no new cases, which is great. So hopefully we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, especially as we're going to go into winter. You guys are coming into summer, obviously, and we're starting to go into the cold. So we, if we can get out of this before the sort of flu season really hits, I think it's going to be a huge bonus. So have you had many inquiries for design work during that 7-week sort of lockdown period, or?
No, well, it's been a bit odd because we've run, our government have run what's called a furlough scheme. I think you may have had something similar. Yeah. So basically, it's meant to encourage the companies to go into complete lockdown and to enable companies to continue running. They've been furloughing staff. So on the kitchen and bathroom side of things, our staff were furloughed. And obviously I had to, my attentions had to be taken to another side of our business.
Yeah.
I have had a few projects that I was working on that I've been able to continue. I have a lovely new build project down on the south coast in Dorset in the UK. So we finalised the kitchen and the laundry areas there. So we've managed to do that quite easily and remotely. I've worked remotely for years. I know you have as well, Mal.
Yeah.
So that hasn't been. That's no different for me or for the company.
Yeah.
So I've been always remotely working. I've had clients. I mean, you have them really far afield, like all throughout the world. But for me, a few in Spain, and majority of them are in the UK, but all over the UK. So so that hasn't really had much of an effect. But on terms of getting new business, I haven't been proactive, I should say, into doing that.
We've had a few inquiries, but most people are just sounding out what you can do and waiting for us to move into what we call level 2, which is hopefully next week, when we'll be able to actually go out on site and meet new clients and and that sort of thing. Once again, still keeping those social distance rules, but you'll be able to do a lot more than what we're doing now. But it's actually one of the funny things I was just thinking about. We were supposed to meet up in 2018 after Milan. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
We were supposed to do a live from your brand new showroom, which you'd had, which took out those lovely, fantastic awards, and I never bothered to actually ask where you were. I always thought you were in Bath for some reason. And my son and his future wife were living in Bristol, just down the road, so I went and saw them, and then we toddled up to Bath, and I rang you and said, right, we're here. What time do you want us? And she said, where are you? I said, we're in Bath. And you said, I'm in Rugby. So we had to zoom in remotely like that.
We did, and that worked well, didn't it?
And it went really well, yeah. And we said we'd do it again. It's only taken 2 years and a horrible disease to make it happen. So
yeah, we definitely should do it more often.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking to last week to a designer in LA, Jeffrey Johnson, who is a fantastic interior designer, and he was saying the same. It's actually making people want to connect and get together. And then the week before, with an Australian designer, Gavin Hepper, introduced me to his people. And I think it's a really good way for us as designers and people that follow us to now, get a bit of an insight into what we are. I mean, I'm doing this from the living room table. I've even got a Stella Artois here because it's this afternoon. I'm allowed to be here.
Can't be bad. I've got sparkling water.
Yeah, but you're a triathlete. I'm a long way from that. But so I suppose a few thoughts. What do you think's going to happen now? I mean, Milan, for instance, has been cancelled this year, and I was seeing they're even thinking about the Tokyo Games next year could be cancelled. So when you think of that, I think design shows will be taking quite a step back for maybe a year or two to come. It may be another couple of years before we even see a sort of real design show again. Do you feel that, or yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I looked up actually last night. Eurocachina, that was due in March this year. So they've announced the dates for next year, and then whether or not that will go ahead. But the Cerise, the design show in Bologna.
Yeah.
They've actually got dates from the 28th of October this year, so they seem positive at the moment that they can get that on. But I think we've also got the Clerkenwell Design Week in London in the UK. Yeah. They were due to run the event in May this year, but they've put theirs off till July. But it seems a bit optimistic at the moment. But they've still got dates the 17th to the 19th of July. So
yeah, that might be a little bit optimistic.
I think so.
Because I mean, like you have 100% design too. That's in around September, October, isn't it, in London? So
yeah, 100% design, and we've got. I think you probably have as well grand design shows.
Yeah.
All of the consumer, they're more consumer-led shows, aren't they? But yeah.
I mean, our biggest home show is in October, or September, I think. Yeah, I don't never really go to it that much because it's not one of the greatest shows in the world, and it's getting worse, full of a lot of sort of rubbishy sort of items. But I think, but it attracts a lot of people, attracts a lot of public. So I think shows like that here will be definitely. They've announced that the big agricultural show that's in Christchurch in November, that's been cancelled, which is a big farming show. So that's been cancelled. So I think a few of those shows will definitely disappear from our market for the foreseeable future. But
I know that Germany announced actually that any mass participation over 5,000 will not be allowed this year in 2020.
Yeah, so it must be hard for some of these companies to plan and work out what they're going to do. And I've noticed you do much on the KBV review site. Do you see much of the information coming through on that? Because I know.
Yeah, I have the daily or the weekly email. Yeah. Yeah,
because I saw a couple of things there that I thought were interesting. That the company in London that laid off 3,000 staff, the kitchen company there. And then there's obviously Pogonpole.
Pogonpole, yeah. I was reading up about Pogonpole filing for bankruptcy, but they appear to be going to continue trading, waiting for buyers.
Yeah, waiting for buyers. So it'll be interesting to see what the landscape's like, and I suppose that leads me into a little bit of we're really thinking now about trying to get people really to concentrate on local. That local designers can do a fantastic job, and we have local manufacturers that can do the job. That looking offshore for possibly some of these products now, people really need to start focusing on local content and seeing what the designers can do and the manufacturers. So I think that's going to be a huge thing moving forward for definitely for the consumer. And I think the consumer is going to. I know that here they're starting some big Buy New Zealand made campaigns. And they'll do it in Australia, and no doubt they'll do it in the UK to try and get people to buy local, to support the local people. So hopefully that comes off.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I think now as well, I think we've all learned a massive lesson to be patient. We've had no other choice but to be patient, and I think the fast pace we have been living at will slow down. I really do believe that. I don't think we're going to go back to the pace that we were all living.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to be a lot I mean, we've all been locked up for 6-7 weeks here. I mean, we go for a walk around, and we're lucky where we live. We're pretty close to the waterfront. We've got, sort of a good stretch of water we can walk along, and there's a couple of areas that have got local restaurants and bars and that. Instead of going to town, I think I said to Fern that we'll be staying a lot more local than we used to be, and won't be going out as much either. I don't think we'll be really looking, a little bit more insular in what we do, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I haven't...
Might be a while before we get to the UK again.
I know. We were actually looking... I think France are announcing, I think today, because I enjoy going to the French Alps in the summertime. There's a resort, a ski resort called Alpe d'Huez, but in the summer it's obviously not a ski resort. It's a perfect triathlon training base. So yeah, we'd been planning to spend a few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks out there in July, and which is probably not going to happen. But the French authorities are announcing today whether or not they will allow European travel through their borders for non-essential travel. So it'll be interesting to see what they say. And that doesn't go to say that UK might say, well, you're not travelling anyway.
And how's it go now that you're in Brexit? You might not allowed to go.
Pardon?
Now you're in Brexit, now you've exited the European Union, they might not like you.
Oh no, that's it.
And you also go down to Cape Town and that quite a bit too, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been watching the escalation of the lockdowns in Cape Town with my friends, and they've actually had a full lockdown, and they've just been allowed to exercise, I think this week, and they can go out between the hours of 5 in the morning and 7, I think it is. But at the moment, because it's going into their winter, like the New Zealand time zone, the sun doesn't come up until 6, so they've only got an hour.
So, yeah, the sun's rising about 7 a.m. in the morning here, so it's sort of quite dark till late, and it's starting to get dark at 5, so we're starting to get into heading towards the depth of winter, but anyway, that's why. So,
Yeah.
A couple of things. Your best ever project and client that you've dealt with, is there anything that comes to mind that really strikes you as being a fantastic project to work on, and how that evolved?
Yeah, so back in 2014, I met a client through another client actually, and she had a really fantastic house renovation to do. And her house was 2 houses, and then it had a big kind of, you could call it corridor in the middle, like a flat roof corridor to create it, to make it into 2 big houses. Well, 1 big house, I should say, from 2 big houses. But this was all done in the 1980s, so we had a fantastic project on our hands, and we've done it in phases. Actually, I think it was before 2014. We actually started on the first phase, which was just to get a couple of bathrooms done, and I think we put a very inexpensive kitchen in at the time, just to get them going. But in 2014, we really got to get a teeth into the project. So the first phase was a big living space, which incorporated a kitchen area and a bar. Also, we incorporated a library and a living space. And the reason why this project is probably one of my definite favourites was that my client really gave us the opportunity to really do what we worked very closely with her actually, which is great. she allowed us to. She commissioned us to do 2 pieces of furniture, which included a bar and a media centre. And it was brilliant. So we, from start to completion, the bar and media centre was completely handmade and it was designed, but it was all still contemporary. So that was fantastic. And then 2018, she had us back again, and we did a master en suite. A master bedroom, or a master suite, I should say, that we incorporated, put in a balcony on. They had views over tennis courts, or a tennis court, I should say, and the grounds to the home. And that was fantastic. I came up with which I wanted to do for a long time, is incorporate a wellbeing area rather than a bathroom as such. So we had I incorporated a kind of a cube. It was a very large space, so I put a cube in the middle. So they had the sleeping area at the front, and then they had a dressing area at the back, and in the middle was the spa area, and then the loo was separate, but within the cube, it's a completely separate entrance. So it was great, and then we did it all in the Japanese theme, and did bespoke sliding doors, and it was really good.
Sounds stunning. Yeah, sounds absolutely stunning. So it's always good when a client gives you a little bit of free rein, so you can.
Yeah.
As designers, you've always got something, I think, in the back of your head that's sitting there that you want to bring to life, and you just got to find the right client to do it. And occasionally that comes along, you get the right client, you go, and you can walk into a space and you go, I know exactly what I'm going to do here, and it could have been sitting there for 2 or 3 years. That little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's what I mean.
I mean, obviously, it's when you have budget restraints as well, because you can't. A lot of the ideas you don't want to be tied to budgets, because otherwise it won't happen. So when everything all aligns and you get a client who's happy to let you use your design flair and has the budget as well, it's that's always good fun.
Yeah, that's the best client. One that lets and has a budget that you can actually be clever with. And so I noticed behind you you've got a fish tank. Is that a real fish tank?
No, it's not a real fish tank, but the concept was it was going to be real. And I worked with a fish tank designer here in the UK. I've always had this concept again, and I want a lot of my ideas. I have started to actually just putting them into the showroom, because I hadn't had the opportunity to put them into clients' homes. So behind me here, behind this wall, is my office, and where I'm sitting here is one of our room settings within the showroom. This is a kitchen area. So this fish tank here was going to be real, but unfortunately it was cost prohibited in the end. It was going to be around £10,000 to £15,000 UK pounds. Yeah, but it would work, and also it needs maintaining. But it's actually all designed so it would work. So you have this would have been the actual tank where the fish lived. What I was going to do is have a mirror at the rear, so it's basically two-way glass. So when you were looking through the showroom, it would have just been a mirror, but from my office, I could have looked straight through into the showroom, which would have looked cool, and I could have seen a fish from my side, and then the clients would have seen the fish from this side. And then it's designed. It's got big doors that would open here. Just these doors here, and then there's another tank would have lived, which is exactly the same size of here as this tank. Then that recirculates, and then it was going to have cameras in it so it could be maintained remotely. Actually, the aquarium world, design world, is quite very interesting, and they do these projects. And my inspiration was from I travelled to Dubai to the Burj, and they have got probably, I would say, I'm not sure, but it must be the biggest fish tank in the world that goes straight up an escalator onto the first floor of the hotel, and it's incredible. So I've always had this vision, I've always had the vision of two-way things, and actually I'd love to do this in a bedroom scenario as well, because I think it's quite soothing and calming to have like a fish tank in your bedroom that then goes into your ensuite. Yeah. I think that would look, your bathroom ensuite, I think that would look really very cool.
The reason I asked a couple of things, I'm doing a job at the moment where the guy's got a reef tank that we're putting into the kitchen. So it's 4.2 metres long by 800 high, and it's going to have all the lovely corals and that growing, which is already starting to grow. And some of the little fish that he was showing, that one's $700, and that one's $900, and so we're just starting on that project. So it's going to be quite cool. There was a question there. Someone asked about how do you see business going in the next 12 months, and do you think there'll be an increase in people spending money on their homes? I know, especially down here or down under, a lot of our clients would travel up to the Northern Hemisphere in basically your summer, which leaves our area quite deserted, and that's not going to happen. So do you think that there'll be more people starting to spend money on home renovations and that over the next 12 months, and maybe our businesses will increase?
Well, we've actually seen that already. So the last 7 weeks is, this is for the outdoors, so people's gardens and yards. People have been spending big amounts of money. It's been incredible on their landscaping, their decorative gravels and patios, etc. So yeah, it's been really, really interesting.
Yeah, so hopefully that happens down, and once we start getting around, people are starting to look and go, well, we'll just be staying in the home. We're not going to move. We've been sitting in this horrible kitchen or bathroom or lounge room or wherever for the last 5 or 6 weeks. We've got to do something with this when we can. So I'm hoping that down here we'll see over the next, it may probably take a couple of months for it to start to kick in, but I'm hoping that sometime around August, September, that people start to go, we're not going to be able to go away for our Christmas holidays. I mean, they're thinking about opening up a travel bubble between Australia and New Zealand, but that could still be months away before that opens up. So it might be a case of people are staying local over that summer period. And
I think they will.
Yeah. So.
Just 2 seconds, Mel. I've just locked everybody out. I won't be a second.
Yep. So while Lisa goes and lets all the staff in, will International Finance hold a lot of clients back though? So while Lisa's out, I'll just have a quick. That's an interesting question, Gavin. I personally feel that once people start to see business coming back, that they will get quickly back into doing stuff. I know they had a thing here where the takeaway stores opened up last week, and most takeaways, apparently they sold as much takeaways in 1 week as they'd normally sell in 5 weeks. So people aren't afraid of spending money, and I know like the supermarkets and that have been going gangbusters. As Lisa said, they've been busy in their merchants, and I know the merchants like Mitre 10, the Bunnings and that have been incredibly busy as well. So I don't think it's going to hold people back for too long, but I could be totally wrong.
Sorry about that, Mal. I'm back.
Back. So I was just saying, just had a question there. That do you think the international financial recession will hold people back? And I was sort of saying I don't think it's going to hold too many back. We went through this in the GFC, the global financial crisis, where a lot of our clients did hold back for a little bit, but it wasn't massive. It was most probably 6 to 8 months before they started to loosen up their purse strings again. And I think it'll be the same here, that towards the end of the year we'll be starting to get back into normality, hopefully. So.
I just think that if it's really going to depend on whether this COVID bounces back into it'll be our autumn, and it would be, I suppose, your spring.
Yeah.
I think that's what the worry is. If it comes back even worse.
If it comes back, I think that's we're going to have a lot of troubles. That I think hopefully it doesn't. And down here, obviously being an island, and the UK and Ireland too, you can actually limit the amount of people coming in, and you should be able to contain it once you have it under control. So I'm hoping that it's more. I feel sorry for your places like Europe with the borders and all that, where there's just no real way they can contain people travelling. I suppose it's very hard. So at least here that there's no flights really coming into the country. I think they said today there's only 1% of the normal flights coming in. So they're talking about the flu vaccine and how getting that in. Because there's only 1% of the normal flights, whether it be passenger or freight coming in. Getting stuff into the country is really taking its time. Any sort of other inspiration? Do you get inspiration from books? Have you gone back to reading some of your design books? And I've pulled out a few lately and just had a look. And of course, one of my big influence people I've admired for a long time is Johnny Gray, who we both know really well.
Yes.
So it's always good to flick through his kitchen culture book and just have a look at what got you started and redefine where you're going maybe, and looking at design. And I know from what we're doing, I'm not doing as many contemporary jobs as we used to do. We are going for a lot more traditional. People are looking at more traditional sort of style. Maybe that's because they're feeling it's a bit more cozier, that sort of look. And we're starting to get influenced by a lot of the TV shows that we have here now, whether it's HGTV, which was a lot of US-based shows, those flip and flop or sort of shows, and also the Love It and List It. So what sort of design are you finding the trend over there at the moment, and colours and materials?
Well, I would say over here, I think we're more or less the same usually, aren't we?
Yeah.
But the last show I went to was here in the UK at the beginning of March. 1st of March it was, on the Sunday, which was the Kitchen and Bathroom show, KBB show, and Costantino, they launched their new liquid Decton range. I don't know whether you've seen it yet.
No, only in imagery. I don't think we've had it down here yet. So
okay, so that was all the whole feel there is all nature. So I really love that. I'm a very natural material girl anyhow, so I love granites. I just love the concept that a piece of stone has come out of the earth and it's millions and millions of years old and it's got a history, and then you can incorporate that and then put it into your home. I love natural woods. So I've seen that coming back as well quite a lot. But yeah, a lot of nature. That's what I saw at the show at the beginning of March. And actually, it was quite well supported. Quite a few of the Europeans actually did come over, which was actually obviously at the start of the outbreak. But yeah, that's what. Going back to nature, I think for me, technology. That's going to be moving forward. Anyhow, technology is going to be big.
Yeah.
home technology anyway, but kitchens is more and more manufacturers are now bringing out all home connectivity, obviously the lighting, and it's just going to be sort of second nature, I think, for everybody to have technology.
Oh yes, there's a lot more technologies coming through the kitchen and bathrooms and the products, that for sure. And I totally agree with the nature. You look at all the beautiful bathroom fittings that are coming now in the metallic finishes. There's some absolutely beautiful sort of real natural finishes in those products, and the same with the granites. And we're using a lot of veneers. I mean, pretty much I'd say 80% of the work that I'm doing these days is veneer based with a bit of lacquer. So, which is great because there's fantastic veneers on the market, and also the natural granites are doing a lot in natural granite, and also a little bit in porcelain. Porcelain's really starting to get its hold here, and that's because we've actually got manufacturers that can do a fantastic job and know how to use the product, because some of these products are tricky to manufacture and they take a little bit of time to work in. And also, sometimes we design stuff that they look at and go, oh, really? Did you have to do it? There could have been such a simple...
Yeah, the application of it.
So why do you make it so hard? I had one the other day where the guys rang up and goes, we've got all these facets that you're doing, and do you know how they quite work? And you've got to sort of talk them through because we can't go out and see them. Normally I'd be out in the factory
of course.
and working that stuff out on site in the factory, which I love doing, because having the old cabinet making background, I sort of still like getting out into I don't like touching the tools, but I don't mind getting out in the factory and sort of designing that way some days as well, which is really...
That's interesting you've just said that, actually, because the sites, notoriously the construction industry, and they haven't been that interested in technology, and if we're speaking to tradespeople on site over the phone, that's about the limitation. Yeah. But I've found during this past 7 weeks, if I've needed to speak to the sites that are still running, and including the job down in Dorset, they've been very accommodating, and we've been WhatsApping, and which it makes life a lot easier, because you're talking face to face, and I've been showing them design details within the showroom. And then they can say, oh, yes, that's what you mean. And, yeah, we can understand that, rather than I'm trying to explain on the phone and they're not listening or not being able to understand. So that's been fantastic. So hopefully that will continue.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the good things that's going to come out of this is we're going to be used to more using, these sorts of systems of communicating. So you don't have to hop in the car and run to site, to have a look at something and go, hey, let's jump on an instant, a live thing, Zoom or something like that, and have a look at it and discuss it that way, which, is going to be good for the client too, I think, in the end of the day. I think there's some fantastic advantages in that. So SBID and KBB awards are later on this year, and, there's been quite a few entries in both of those awards from the Southern Hemisphere over the last few years, and designers have travelled up. Obviously, that won't be able to happen this year. I wonder how that will affect the entries and whether people will still enter. Because I know, I'm a passionate believer in SBID awards. I think they're fantastic, as you are.
Yeah.
They always put on a good show. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in the virtual sort of realm of doing their awards. How do you feel about, do you think that'll still be a big feature in the calendar, even though it will be virtual?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know whether you've seen, but one of the UK magazines, they're actually currently running an awards what would you call it, a competition at the moment. They've had 500 participants already. I'm just having a look what it was called. I did make a note of it. Yeah, it's called the KBB Review Lockdown Special. So it's free to enter, and they had a brief. And there's prizes from suppliers and brands, and they've even incorporated an under-16s entry. So basically, people are putting their designs forward. I think they've had about 2 weeks to do it. Listen to a brief, and and then the judging panel from the KBB they're all back and they're going to remotely judge it. And so I think everybody's embracing it already. So by the time we get to the end of the year, that won't be an issue. I think everyone will.
Yeah, no. Hey, so no, I think so. We've covered off a few good topics there, and given I think people a bit of an insight into what we do and how we work and that. And so I better let you go and start your day. No doubt there's a bit of there's a bit of lumber to hump around in the yard and a few bags of cement and that. So you can go and do that. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, man.
We'll catch up soon, and let's pencil something in for maybe a month or two, and we'll see how everyone's going. So
yeah, absolutely. Also, I was just going to mention, there's a few, I don't know whether you've seen on Instagram, there's a few designers who have actually been doing, which is quite cool, house tours.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but I think one I think you would absolutely love is Buster and Punch.
Oh yeah.
I love Buster and Punch, and Massimo, the founder, he's got a beautiful home in Stockholm.
Oh yeah.
And it's right on the lake. And so if you go to Buster and Punch, you can then look at one of his he's saved them under his Instagram TV. If you go to IGTV, and he's got 2 series, 1 and 2, and he's got an amazing home. And he's come from an architectural background, and then design, and then product design. It's incredible. So
I'll go and have a look. Old Gavin's basically said yes, the home is amazing on here. He's made a comment, so I'll have to definitely have a look at that. That's for sure.
Definitely worthwhile. And then maybe we might be able to see. Maybe we could have a tour of your home, Mel.
No, I'm quite a private person.
Or maybe just a little aspect.
Maybe I could take you into a client's home if we're lucky. Once we get
that would be amazing.
And we've got a new project going up on our website tomorrow. So anyone that's tuned into this, they want to jump on over to our website, you'll see one of our latest projects from Christchurch. And there's a couple of new items in there that people may look at and hopefully like. So that'll be good. So thank you, and have a great day. And,
thanks, Mel.
And we'll talk soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.